Hello, my name is Galen J Byrnside. We are here for part two of the Get Your Life series. I'm here with my mother, Miss Mary Ann Alexander, and I'm interviewing her today. And now we'll get started. What's one of your favorite ways to relax and unwind after a long day?
Having a glass of wine and just watching one of my favorite movies, just laying around and enjoying the wine and enjoying the movie. It relaxes me.
What's one of your favorite childhood memories?
I would say playing with my siblings and cousins growing up. We used to play hide and seek and hopscotch and jack stones, and kids don't do that now, but growing up, that's one of my favorite memories.
What's a fun fact about you that most people might not know?
Most people, when they meet me, don't think that I'm friendly. They think that I'm hard, but when they really get to know me, they'll know that I'm the sweetest, kindest, most honest person that they ever meet, and a friend that they will have for life.
Who is someone that inspires you and why?
I would have to say my son. Why? Because he taught me how to open up and that it's okay to tell my story, even through all the things that he'd been through because of my story. He came out stronger, he came out better, and he taught me that no matter how long it's been, it's still okay to tell the story.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Aruba with my husband so we could just relax on the beach and just enjoy life.
Are you nervous to tell your story and why? Or why not?
I'm very nervous to tell my story. Why? Because I haven't told it before, and it's hard to reach back into your past and bring out painful memories and things that people don't already know about you, and now they'll know. So, yes, I'm nervous.
Ready? You ready? You got this. You got it.
All right.
After four, if you want, if it makes it easier, pick one person. Pick one person.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said I was gonna do.
Okay. Can you share your story with us? How did your relationship start, and at what point did you begin to notice signs of domestic violence?
Well, my relationship started uh, when I met who I thought was the love of my life at the hospital. We both worked there together. Um, just noticed each other, and it was pretty much a wrap after that. Um, it was a great relationship for the first few years. Um, thought everything was great, but then I began to notice changes in the attitude, more loud talking, more pushing, more shoving. Um, and that's when I noticed that, yeah, it's beginning.
What were some of the first warning signs or red flags that you experienced in your relationship?
Being in my face, yelling for no reason, the putting me down for no reason, not being able to do anything right in their eyes, just simple things like that that wasn't there at first. The being gone for a while unnecessarily, and when you ask where you been, they're getting mad for no reason when you just ask a simple question. It's just little signs like that that starts to build up to bigger things.
How did the abuse impact your daily life, mental health, and sense of self during that time?
Well, I think the impact was I stopped going places, stopped hanging out with friends, started being more a recluse. Didn't want anybody to know what was going on. Start changing who I was instead of being more open. I was beginning to shut down and close myself off from family and friends because I didn't want anybody to know what I was going through.
What were the challenges you faced in recognizing and admitting to yourself that you were in an abusive relationship?
Well, the challenges that I faced was the fact of realizing that I was in an abusive relationship. And I knew that I was in one when the pushing started and the hitting started and the black eyes started and the bruising started and just unnecessary yelling and screaming and just going off for no reason, just just because.
Did you feel like you had support or did you feel isolated?
Definitely isolated. I mean, who wants people to know what you're going through? It's not like you go tell someone that, hey, my husband is beating on me or treating me this way. One thing, you don't want them to dislike him because in your mind you're thinking that at some point maybe they'll change. And then if you done told somebody you're with that person and they're looking at it now in a different light, and you don't want that to happen. So you just keep it to yourself.
How did the abuse affect the way you parented?
I think it affected the way I parented is I put I feel like I put my child second, trying to please the abuser, and that to me had an effect on my child because he began to mimic the things that I would say to the person that I was with, and doing the same things that I was doing and accepting the things that I was accepting. And then I knew that it had an impact and it was time to change the impact.
Do you think I noticed or understood what was happening at the time?
Absolutely. You became like a little mini me. If I said a name or called them a name, then you would do the same thing. You definitely noticed, and it definitely had an impact on your life. You don't see it when you're in it. You think, they're okay, they'll be okay. They don't really understand completely what's going on. They just hear the arguments and they just see the bruises and stuff, and they'll be okay.
How did you feel knowing that I witnessed some of what you went through?
Guilty. I felt guilty because I knew that it changed who you were going to be into a different person. You become a person that's growing up in a abusive household, and you will become me. So I felt guilty because I was changing who you were by staying.
Did you grow up around domestic violence? If so, how did that shape your understanding of love and relationships?
Not necessarily domestic violence, just a lot of yelling and arguing, and never seen any hitting or pushing or anything, but just the way that people talk to each other was enough um, to change and think that that's just normal. That's just the way that people talk to each other in a relationship. Um, then, of course, you learn that that's not true. But at the time when you're a child, you think that's just all normal. That's just the way that it's supposed to be.
What message about relationships did you receive growing up that may have contributed to staying in an abusive relationship?
Thinking it was normal. Just thinking that what you were seeing and witnessing was normal. And that's just all part of a relationship.
Can you describe a specific incident that became the turning point for you where you decided enough was enough?
Enough was enough when the last black eye came. The last black eye that I had to wear and explain what happened and the embarrassment from it, that was the last straw. And the last contact, having to wear that badge of shame around my eye was the turning point, and then I was done.
Thank you for your answers. We're going to give my mom a break. We're going to give her some time to collect herself, and we'll be right back. Okay, now we're back. We're going to continue the interview with my wonderful mother, and we're going to get right into it. If you could go back and speak to your younger self during the hardest moments, what would you say?
I would tell her to hold on, that it won't always be this way. Just hold on.
Do you believe that forgiveness of yourself or your abuser is necessary for healing?
Forgiveness of the abuser is definitely needed for healing, because if you don't, then you're holding on to all that baggage and resentment and hate, and it keep replaying in your mind like an old record. Forgiveness of yourself, I didn't realize that I haven't forgiven myself until I read your book, Memoirs of Galen. And that right there let me know what all I took you through growing up. And that alone just broke my heart into a million pieces. Knowing that you went through all of that struggle with me, and while I was thinking I was going through that struggle by myself, I was dragging you behind me like baggage. And until we had that talk about everything, until I read the book and I realized it, and I came to you and I said, I'm sorry. I'm 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 sorry. I didn't realize how much it impacted your life and how much you was gonna follow me down the trail of being in relationships like I was. I changed who you were and turned you into me. But thank God that you found yourself and you tell your truth now, and you help so many people to see the truth. And you help me to forgive myself from hurting you. Okay.
Before I ask this next question, I want to read a disclaimer. We understand and respect that domestic violence affects individuals of all races and backgrounds, and every survivor story is important. Our intention is not to diminish any experiences, but to highlight the broader spectrum of those affected. As a woman of color, how do you perceive the predominant portrayal of domestic violence survivors as Caucasian females? Do you believe this impacts the experiences of other women of color or other marginalized groups?
I think so. I think that a lot of women of color in groups don't tell their stories. I think they just think they grow up and they think that it's normal. It's in every household, and that's just what happens. You just try to hold your man down. Is what you hear all the time. Sticking with him no matter what's going on, whether he's beating you or it don't have to be physical. It could just be mentally breaking you down. There's definitely an unequal balance there.
How has true love defined the woman you are now?
True love makes, well, you see I'm smiling now. Um, it changed me. It let me know that there really is a person that was out there for me, and all I had to do was just stop looking. and God will bring them to me. And He did. We laugh together, we cry together, we do silly things. It's just no disrespect. Just He makes me feel like a woman, a wife, a best friend. It's just unexplainable.
Okay. Mom, if you could describe the woman you are today in just 3 words, what would they be?
Always a work in progress.
Thank you so much. As we wrap up this powerful and emotional journey, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made this project possible. First, a huge thank you to James, CEO of Goofy Entertainment, our talented videographer, for capturing these important stories with such care and professionalism. A special thank you to Bree Simone of the Brits Styles and Murphy of Murphy's Cuts for your incredible work on my hair and my face. A special thank you to Tamika Lassane of Level Up Hair Salon for your exceptional makeup and hair skills, making our survivor feel pampered and valued. To everyone who tuned in to watch this, thank you for your time and attention. Your support and sharing and acknowledging these stories is vital in our mission to change the narrative and provide inclusive support for all survivors of domestic violence. And a big thank you to my mother from coming all the way from Belton, South Carolina to record this. I know that it wasn't easy, and I really appreciate you coming and doing this with me. I love you very much. To everyone watching, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. There we go.